Hi, hey, and hello there. Obi-Han here, and welcome back to the Comic High Ground. Alright, so I think I've given this topic enough time to kind of sit on the minds of everybody. Everybody's had an opinion on it. Everybody's made videos about it. Everybody's made posts about it on social media and everything. And the topic I'm talking about is basically MCU Phase 4. Now, I've tried to defend Phase 4 as much as I can, but after a while, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's only so much I can defend, right? It's clear that after Avengers Endgame, they didn't really have a plan as to what they were going to do, so they pretty much went with the momentum. It's like, okay, well, everybody's with us, and we can't just stop making content, so we're just gonna keep on powering forward without any real plan. Now, Phase 4 had some gems in it, and again, it's kind of hard to pinpoint, I guess, the gems because it's so much stuff in Phase 4, and I think that is part of the issue that Phase 4 had. To be honest, there's other things, and there's political things as well. Like, Phase 4 was definitely the phase where Marvel decided that they wanted to start inputting some more of these political ideals with their characters and how they were doing things with the characters. Certain statements they were making, like for instance with WandaVision, when there was a rumor that Doctor Strange was supposed to be in it, and then they took that idea completely out because I believe, to quote Feige, they didn't want him to come in and mansplain to Wanda how to use her powers or magic or something like that, which is dumb. it's very dumb because, I mean, he's a sorcerer supreme. Who else is going to tell her how to use her powers? And that's just like one of a few other issues, specifically, I guess, political issues that they have just kind of started sprinkling into the MCU, and it's definitely hurting their brand, right? I mean, let's just be real, it's hurting their brand. And again, Phase 4 could have been actually really good. They had the ability to make it good, but again, they just made weird decision after weird decision, going right up to She-Hulk. And again, She-Hulk, I reviewed She-Hulk on this channel. I'm sorry, I reviewed like 5 episodes of She-Hulk on this channel, and then I just kind of had to stop because the episodes there was no, how do I say, there was nothing important going on in the episodes, and that was made even more obvious by the fact that the season finale of She-Hulk was literally like this huge spoof or spiff, and she stopped the episode and changed what was going on in it and changed the plot. It's like She-Hulk ultimately was not meant to be taken seriously. That's basically what that meant. Like, the most important thing about She-Hulk was that we got to see Charlie Cox's Daredevil in suit for the first time in the MCU. Other than that, there was nothing. Like, again, I like Tatiana Maslany, but they didn't do anything with that show, and it's a head scratcher. Like, what was the point, right? And the reason I'm doing this video now, because you might be wondering, like, why in the world are you talking about Phase 4 now? Well, at the time of this recording, it is the red carpet premiere of Antman and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is basically the first movie in Phase 5. So there's a lot, I guess there's a lot that is depending on this movie. Not to say that, the MCU will, rise or fall based on Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. But there's a lot, I think, in terms of just kind of public perception, because we saw Phase 4. Anyone who's in the know knows that Phase 4 concluded with Wakanda Forever. And now we're looking at Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania like Phase 5. Okay, what do you have? We also know that this movie is introducing Kang the Conqueror. Now, Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be the next Thanos for the MCU. So, just for that alone, that makes this movie really big, actually, now that I think about it. And Jonathan Majors is playing Kang the Conqueror. I'm a huge fan of Jonathan Majors, so honestly, I'm looking forward to this movie for no other reason than to see Jonathan Majors as Kang and see what he can do in that role, because that guy's a really good actor. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm sorry, Antman, but I'm looking forward to seeing him kick Antman's ass. All right, I'm sorry. Look, Scott, you're awesome, but I'm just saying it's kind of like Power Rangers when the Sixth Ranger comes and the Sixth Ranger has to like kick everybody's butt around him because he's the new guy and he has to show off his power. You know, that's just how it goes. Kang is the new guy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Now back to Phase 4, and I mentioned just a couple minutes ago that Wakanda Forever was basically the conclusion to Phase 4. And to be honest, I mean, if I'm just being completely honest, Wakanda Forever, I had a lot of issues with it. I had a lot of issues with it. And Black Panther is something that I have really kind of purposely steered clear of talking about on this channel, and there's a reason for that. I'm a very avid believer that they should have recast T'Challa. I know that's probably a very controversial take, but there's a reasoning. There's a method for my madness. There's a reason why I'm saying this, and I don't think that people really are truly understanding the severity of what they've done in Wakanda Forever. I mean, there's a laundry list of things that they just kind of, I guess that they just kind of should have really redid or reworked in that movie, and I'm not going to talk about it in this video because I'm definitely going to do a Black Panther video very, very, very soon, discussing my issues that are with Black Panther and what Marvel has done with them in the past in the past year, almost specifically in the past 2 or 3 weeks, because there's a comic that came out recently and is pretty much one of the most disrespectful. It had one of the most disrespectful panels in Black Panther history, I believe. I don't know if there's been anything more disrespectful than that panel. Than that panel in that comic. And it doesn't just hurt T'Challa, it hurts other characters like Steve Rogers and some of the Avengers. Like, I don't know who's writing Black Panther, but again, that's a rant. I'll talk about Black Panther and those issues in another video. Back to Phase 4. Again, you know, we had piles and piles of Disney Plus shows. We had the movies, and there was no really connectivity, right? It was just like, boom, Black Widow, boom, Shang-Chi, boom, Spider-Man, boom, 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 you know. And there was not much connection aside from the slight introductions of the multiverse. And to be honest, the multiverse is the big thing right now for the MCU. So if you just wanted to just kind of catch up, like let's just say you weren't watching the MCU at all in Phase 4, and you, for whatever reason, have started to come back now. Well, the multiverse saga is pretty much the big thing now. Just like the Infinity Saga was for the first 3 phases, the multiverse saga is this one. And honestly, all you really have to watch to kind of get a bit of a, I guess, debriefer or to catch up on what's going on for for the multiverse saga is to really basically just watch WandaVision, Loki, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Nothing else in Phase 4 mattered like that. Like, it was just, they were all just movies. Shang-Chi didn't matter, the Eternals didn't matter, Thor, Love and Thunder didn't matter. None of that mattered in terms of the grand scheme of the story. And that's one of the biggest problems with Phase 4. Nothing had any solid weight to it. I mean, we got a bunch of, if you will, fluff stories. Sam, who we thought was going to be Captain America right off the bat, after Endgame, went through this arc in the show. He was like, well, actually, I'm not Captain America. I don't know if I want to be Captain America. Whereas, if you remember in Endgame, he took the shield and he was proud, and he's like, oh, thank you for this. I'll do you proud. But then in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he's like, I don't think I want to deal with the pressure of being Captain America. What? Where did that come from? Please explain. Where did that come from? And again, that's just one out of like dozens of issues with Phase 4. And I'm not making this video to join in on the mob of people just clowning on Phase 4. That's not my point. Again, there were some gems in Phase 4. Hawkeye was really good. Haley Steinfeld knocked it out of the park as Kate Bishop. She did a damn good job. But for every Kate Bishop and Haley Steinfeld and Hawkeye, there's like, I don't know, some character in She-Hulk who, but to this day I can't remember anybody's name but Jennifer. That's kind of telling if I can't remember any of the other characters' names except Jennifer's. But again, I digress. And then other shows such as Ms. Marvel, no offense to Kamala Khan, but I didn't watch I still to this day have not watched Ms. Marvel, and that's because of the fact that I'm kind of okay with Ms. Marvel in the comics, but in the TV show, in the MCU, they completely ripped apart what her character was in terms of her powers and everything, and gave her a completely new power set, and then to top it all off, made her a mutant. And it's kind of like, this is a situation where it's like Kevin Feige and the powers that be have started to get a little bit too big-headed. To sit here and just change stuff, just because you wanted to change it, and because you don't want to reference other stuff as well. Like, they have a problem with the Inhumans, so it's like, well, we don't want to reference the Inhumans because of the negativity that was attached to the Inhumans TV show a couple years back. So we're not going to have her be an Inhuman. We're going to have her be a mutant. Forget the fact that the basis of her character is that she's an Inhuman, and a proud Inhuman at that in the comics. But in the MCU, she's a mutant. Like, why? And why change her powers the way you do? Because even if that's the other thing, you change her powers, instead of being like a stretchy character like Reed Richards, she's basically like a Green Lantern style character with these constructs. And you have to ask why, other than the fact, because I don't think they're given a solid answer to that. I think it's probably because they wanted to have Reed Richards be their first stretchy character, and to be honest, they kind of still succeeded in that, because John Krasinski in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness a couple of months prior had showed up as Reed Richards, right? So again, that problem, if you have him showing up already as Reed Richards, then you technically have already established or shown that Reed Richards has stretchy powers, and he was in the MCU. So what's the point? What was the point of changing her powers? I could go on and on and on and on and on about the issues with Phase 4. And again, like I said, I'm not trying to join in on the crowd of people talking about it, because that kind of defeats the purpose of doing this video. And I guess that's my point, or my purpose is to say that yes, Phase 4 they really fell off, right? They fell off. I will admit that. But to say that Phase 4 is just, like the worst thing ever created in entertainment is just wrong, right? I mean, you can't say stuff like that when you have the sequel trilogy of Star Wars out there, when you have the Snyderverse content out there. And again, the Snyderverse thing is subject to people's opinion as well, because you have the certain Snyder fans out there who will swear up and down that those movies are the best thing created in history, which is wrong. Because again, that's another thing where the creators took liberties, and maybe took one too many liberties with established characters, and wanted to make the characters what they want to make them as opposed to what they are. And that's a problem, not just in the movies, but in the comics as well. Again, that's a rant for another day. My point is, I would have to say that Phase 4, I think where it really, really faltered was, like I said, adding all these political elements to it that didn't necessarily have to be on there, and just not having a plan. And it is obvious they just didn't have a plan. So I just wanted to kind of give my own thoughts on Phase 4, some of the stuff that they had in it. I definitely didn't touch on every freaking thing they had, because Phase 4 was full of stuff. There really was something coming out like every 3 months. And I'm just talking about Disney Plus. I'm not even counting the movies. With Antman and the Wasp Quantumania, I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. because it has a lot of promise, and Kang looks like it's gonna be really, really cool. So like I said, that's why I even decided to do this video, because I just thought, because we're about to start Phase 5, let me revisit Phase 4, give my opinions on it, say what I thought was wrong with it, and basically say, hey everybody, let's look forward to Phase 5 to see if they can course correct, since they've had their retreat, they've made their plan, they have this list. We know that there are going to be 2 other Avengers movies in a few years. We don't know who the Avengers are going to be, but we know that they're going to have another Avengers movie coming soon. So again, we can look forward to that, hopefully, because my hope is that the MCU course corrects and fixes a lot of the mistakes that they've made in Phase 4. But you know, it's one of those things where only time can tell, right? So yeah, with that being said, I hope you all liked the video. If you did, hit that like button, drop a comment to let me know what you think about Phase 4. Hey, hit that subscribe button if you liked what you saw here, because I am trying to give you better and better content, right? And I'm trying to be a little bit more frequent. So with that said, remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later.